everybody. I really want to talk to you about positivity today with Paul and with my friend Stacey. Everyone goes through times when it's not always cheerful, not always positive, but what my videos are about, I'm trying to encourage that in you. Like in the last few years, for example, I've had the death of 6 people, friends of mine under 45. You know, when Paul and I got married, he had to start from scratch and earn all his money back again, all that sort of thing. So it's not like I haven't been there and done that, but someone who's been there and done that even more than us is Stacey, and I really want to tell you all about it. So how are we going to start? Like, how do you want to start?
We'll quickly tell you a story.
Yeah. Because
you've got to know Stacey's story. You know what, Megan will put a link to.
I met Stacey at a lunch, and it was with all these women, and it was for the Lighthouse Foundation and supporting women who were pregnant from being abused or being raped, or who were in situations that weren't, you know, great.
It was, so I'm the ambassador for the Lighthouse Foundation, and Megan was the guest speaker. And what the Lighthouse Foundation does is build homes for homeless young mums and their babies. And the reason it's such a soft spot for me is because I came from a pretty difficult background. I was brought up with my dad on my own, and then fell pregnant at the age of 15, and by the age of 19 had 2 kids and found myself homeless with the 2 kids. And by the age of 21 I had the 3 kids. And
can you believe that, everyone?
How many dads?
Yeah, 2.
2 dads, 3 kids. Mix it around.
Yeah.
Keep it interesting.
But with the 3, when I met the 3rd dad, I ended up in a really violent relationship with the 3 kids. And but I've actually turned my life around now, and I have 2 businesses.
Turned it around. She has made it into this amazing... Look, she's even written a book. I've got it here because I was reading it last night. Look.
Can you put the link there?
Yeah, well, it's called The Rich Get Richer, The Poor Can Too. But what I really
By
love...
STACEY CURRIE.
Yes. I'll put the link for it there. But what I really want, we all have different goals, right? Like, so, I love being a jewellery designer. Some people want to be on television. Some people want to do different things. Stacey's dream was to work at a funeral parlour. That cracks me up.
There's a story behind that.
Go on, tell me the story. I find
too.
it really interesting.
I remember the story.
Because people
I can tell you the story.
Okay,
different things.
The story was Stacey was with her dad when she was about 4, or 5, or 6, 8, and she saw someone get killed. And you were very disturbed as a young child.
In a car accident,
yeah. You got hit by a car.
Hit by a car, and you were very disturbed about what was going to happen to this person that had been killed. And I think your dad said that they go to a funeral home or something like that.
She wanted to know they looked nice and they were looked after.
That started the fascination with your journey in that direction, more or less.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
But isn't that bizarre, everyone? Like, seriously, that I can't imagine wanting to do that. But she loved it. And so now I want you to tell that story about how you went about it and then you contacted the funeral home and they said no and all that stuff.
So, I ended up having a mega obsession with getting into the funeral industry. Since the age of 8, it was an obsession to the point where I would every Saturday get the newspaper and cut out all the job advertisements and just keep
the funeral notices.
I used to read them every time too. Yeah, I was obsessed with anything that said funeral.
Yeah.
And anyway, I read in a magazine one day, there was this guy that wrote in and he said he was a funeral director, and I thought, I'm going to write to this guy and ask him if I can get a job or something. And so I wrote to the magazine, and then the magazine wrote back to me and connected us, and I spoke to him. So
that's proactive right there.
Yeah, and I tried to thinking, he'll get me there. Anyway, when I was homeless with the 2 kids, I was 19 and I had the 3-year-old, and she was 4 months old at the time, my daughter. So I had a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old. And I remember being homeless and I was so desperate. I was still doing TAFE. I was sleeping on a friend's floor. And I thought, I've got to do something with my life. Like, I have to make this become a reality. And so I took myself, I remember having Josh in this arm and Talia in this arm, and I didn't have a pram back then, the double pusher. And I walked to the funeral company and I knocked on the door and I said,
with the
excuse
kids in
me.
each arm.
Yeah, seriously. And I never dressed nice back then. Like I didn't even do my hair. I never went to the hairdressers. I looked poor.
But no one mentored you.
No,
No one taught you.
No.
So you were just finding for yourself.
Yeah,
so,
right. So I was on my own, and I just didn't even care what I looked like. Had me trackies on. Knock on the door, and I said, "Can I please speak to the manager?" And I walked in, and I said, "Oh, excuse me, this is my passion. I'm living homeless at the moment with my 2 kids, and can I have a job?" And he says, "Come back another time." And I said, "Oh, okay." So the next day, I went back.
She rang the doorbell.
I was doing TAFE at the time. So I went back to the TAFE, and they let me use their computer. I put the kids in the childcare at the TAFE, and I went and used their computer, and I put together a pretend resume. So I took all of the clippings that I'd kept from the newspaper and printed up a resume that had all the skills and everything that I'd need to become a funeral director. So
what
I went
you
back.
perceived would be the skills?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
that was in the job advert.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yep.
You know, like how to clean
You
a
need,
hearse.
you need the requirements.
Yes.
We need people
This
who
is
can do
what-
the job,
yeah, okay.
who have the following
That's
skills.
interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So-
and
so-
attributes.
Yeah.
That was
And
clever.
so I put this awesome resume together, and I walked down there and I knocked on the door the next day, but this time I didn't take the kids. And I said, "Oh, just here to see the manager again." And I said, "Oh, you told me to come back," not even thinking anything of it. Look, I've got this resume. Now, if I was to conquer this resume and complete it, will you give me a job? And he looked at it, and he actually sat me down and went through it with me, and he said, "Well, yeah, okay." And so off I went.
That was pretty nice, wasn't it, that he gave you that time?
That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then I ended up...
She smells really good, actually. I have to tell you that right now. What is
you.
that?
Some perfume Dave's mum got me.
It's beautiful.
From Czech.
Okay.
So then, the next day, I ended up going back to TAFE where I was doing my course, and I asked them if I could use their computers again, and I put together 100 resumes, and then I went door knocking. And I took the kids. No, I didn't have the kids at that time. I dropped them in daycare, and so I walked around door knocking on all these doors, like about, I reckon, 100, asking for a traineeship, that I needed to complete this traineeship. And
why were you so desperate to get a job in? Why was it so important for you to get a job at this stage in your life?
Oh, because...
Was she just homeless?
No, well, it was my passion.
A DHS?
No, that was 21.
That was 21.
Yes.
How old were you at this age?
I was 19 at this age.
Okay, sorry, keep going.
He's jumping ahead there.
So,
yeah.
So anyway, I kept pursuing it, and I was just knocked back after knockback, and I eventually, after about the 100th door, had a man who said yes. There wasn't even a position available, but he opened a position for me.
And what sort of business?
It was, no.
It wasn't. She was just going anywhere.
This one was to do certificate 2, 3 and 4 business management. And I had to do that to get the skills to get into the funeral directing. So the man opened the position for me because he could see that I was
Are you
really
still
keen.
friends with him?
I love him. I haven't seen him for years, but he was my best mentor. And you know what he used to
You've
say
got
to
to
me?
look him up again.
Every morning
Might
he
be
used
on
to walk
Facebook.
into my office and he'd say, "So, my little chickadee." I don't know. He was
See how
awesome.
people can inspire? Like, I'm just going to click that so it's on the end.
And he used to give me the best jobs to do.
And he gave you energy, didn't he?
He gave me jobs that required leadership because he could see a leader in me. I know he could. Because when I look back now, the stuff that he used to get me to do was based on being a leader.
You've got to get in touch with him again.
I know.
Does he know what you're doing now?
I have no idea. I've tried to look for him on Facebook and...
Can we say his name in case anyone knows him or not?
Cliff Stevens.
Cliff Stevens. And what sort of business was it?
So we used to work at Lunar Nameplates.
If anyone knows him, you have to get in touch and put a message here because that would be a really great thing
Because I've put him in my book just because he really was a good mentor for me.
Wow. And so then how long after that, how long did that take you before you could go back to the funeral home?
Okay, so then what happened, that took me 4 years I worked full time at that stage, 5 days a week from 9 till 5, but I had the 3 kids at that stage. Okay, so now we have to go back somewhere.
How daunting.
Right. So I was 21 at that stage, so I'm getting myself lost here.
So you've gone to the funeral home and you've said, I want to work for you. He said, look, you know what, you've got to do all these things. So now you've gone to Cliff. Cliff's said, okay, I'm giving you this. So then from the time from you started at the funeral home, then you worked for Cliff. Then how long after that did you go back to the funeral home? Like, was it a year?
Oh,
was
that
it
took
5
me.
years?
Oh no, it took me 10 years to get into the funeral home. It took
She
me
had that
bloody
vision
10
for 10
years.
years.
That's right.
And that's it, everyone.
10
It's
years,
the
mate.
small steps to get to the big steps. Isn't it? It's not like you can just go, oh, I want to work in a funeral home.
No. You've got to do the steps, and that's what I loved about Paul's video last night, where he said you put the seeds, you reap the rewards, and I'm telling you, it does come back.
Yes, you do the hard yards.
What's that
Yes.
video called again? What did we call it?
Not sure.
What did we call it? But I can't even think
Something
of the name.
about
I'll put a link to it anyway.
planning
For your future and
planning
stuff,
for your future. You see, because I made the point that I really enjoy getting younger kids, you know, from 15 to 20, to try and teach them, mentor them, tempt them, show them,
Like their Paul out there.
show them something that
Yeah.
all of a sudden they go, oh, gee, I want that. And so then you show them the way. And so for me, it's really nice because I have some young guys in the office and I've taught lots of young guys, and I show them the formula of how to become successful, and they've become mighty successful. And maybe when I remember Stacey told me a story, because I've said on many videos, learn how to make a margin. And if you know how to make a margin in whatever business it is, you can make a profit. And you were in the sign business.
This
you
is
were in
way
the sign
after
business,
funeral business.
correct?
We will go back to the funeral story, everyone.
But what happened was Stacey
Large format digital printing.
large format digital printing, and you didn't have a factory or a printer, did you?
No.
But Stacey went out and sold all this signage to the major retailers, all the Coles and Woolies, for the great big digital signs.
Because she believed in herself.
She went in there and she did such a great job. She sold all these signs at a price that she knew that she could manufacture them. So after she'd sold them all, she went and found a factory or a printer and bought a printer and then printed them and made a margin, correct?
Yes.
And
had everything in-house.
And your business is successful now.
Yes.
Because you understand how to make a margin, and Stacey knows how to go out and sell the product. And so my point was, you're 32 now.
Yeah.
Okay. How would it have been for you if you'd had someone like Cliff Stevens or someone like that working with you at age 15?
Oh, geez.
How different would your life
Whoa.
have been? I mean,
I wonder if it would have, or whether she would have got there anyway.
Well, see, because my kids have given stuff on a platter, and they don't work for where I had to work for what I want. But we were poor as children. Like, we were brought up in a poor house. Yeah. And I was thinking about it last night. My first car was a BB Commodore. And I felt like the luckiest person on the planet.
Well, you were up on mine. Mine was an EJ 1962 EJ Holden. HTN 309 cream with a brown roof. I remember it vividly. $600.
But you know what? Josh, my 16-year-old son, would not be caught dead in that. Where to me, I was so excited.
And
it's different these days, I think. I think it's different.
My 62 Holden was the cleanest car in town, let me tell you.
But do you know what I loved about your story? What you were talking about yesterday, where you said, don't focus on the money. That was huge for me, because when I started that traineeship, do you know what? I never, ever, ever once thought about money. I just wanted to be a funeral director.
You focused on honing the skills.
Focused on the skills.
And Cliff said to me, Stacey, we're going to give you this wage. And I said, no, I don't want to be paid. I just want to do this.
Yeah.
And when it came time to upping my wage, he said to me, oh, you're going to get a pay rise within 3 months it was. And I said, oh, what for? No, I don't want a pay rise. I don't want your money. I did. And then when I left, because I won my dream job, he sat me down in the office and he said, now, Stacey, how much are they paying you? And I said, oh, I don't know. I don't care. I'll do this for nothing. And he said, no, Stacey.
I say stuff like that too. I totally know what you mean.
The money. But money has never, ever been a factor in it.
Sometimes you just do things because you love it so much. I know. Yeah. That's why people say, why do you make YouTube videos? Because I love doing it. I really do.
See, I have young kids come to me and they want to know what job to do, which is going to pay them the most. Yeah. And I say, don't select the job that's going to pay the most, because I say to them, some rock stars earn no money at all and some earn bucket loads.
Yep.
Some lawyers earn no money at all and some earn bucket loads. Some plumbers earn very little money at all and some are mega stars. It's not the job, it's how good you are at doing the job. And if you hone your skills, if you can work out at a younger age when you're at late school, year 11, year 12.
But you can still do things older too. You don't have to only do this young, everyone.
Well,
you can still do, like I'm still
the sooner you can work it out.
Stuff.
Yes, but the sooner you get on the journey to work it out rather than
but
just
I would never
meander.
Have made YouTubes.
Just
I
meander.
was like 40.
But the sooner you can hone your skills and the sooner you understand a margin, the sooner you understand, what it is about the job, away you go. Yes. And of course, away you go and you're really good at it. People enjoy the experience. But you can still learn new
things as you get older. You can still do new things, applying that same experience, putting your best effort in.
Yeah. Do your customers like dealing with you?
Yes, they do.
Do you try and make sure they always have a good experience?
Absolutely.
Even when things are challenging, even when something's printed incorrectly or the wrong banner's gone on the wrong on the wrong building, you see people understand those things can happen. I try and make sure that all the customers that deal with me have a good experience. I always return calls, even when I don't want to return a call because I know it's going to be a blast. Even when I just know, but we still have a good experience.
I want to hear the end of the funeral home story.
So, listen to this.
So, she's, so where are we? We're with Cliff, and then, so did you work with Cliff all the way through for those 10 years until
No.
5.
Yeah, I was with, 4 years with that company. But what,
and you kept visiting the funeral home every couple of years?
Oh, yeah, no, every 6 months I'd walk in, knock on the door and say, I finished this, am I ready yet? And show him.
I bet he got a kick out of it.
Every 6 months. And I remember what I was wearing on the day. So I turned up 10 years later.
You're like Megan.
10 years later, I turned up and I had this halter-neck black and white long dress on because I didn't want to look like a tart, so I had this long dress on.
Yeah.
And I had my hair beautiful because I started to go to the hairdressers because I was earning money. And then I wore makeup because I used to dress like a boy all the time. I never dressed pretty and girly.
Yeah.
And so I turned up one day and I sat in the chair and I said, I've really completed everything and I truly believe that I've got everything that I can become a great funeral director. And you know what he said? Stacey, I think you're ready. I got home. I danced around with the kids.
And did he employ you then straight away?
Yes, I ended up going for this job that was opened. I walked in. I had to have an interview. I had to have 3 interviews, and I got the job. Oh, my God.
And did you love it?
As
much as you thought you would?
The job?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, but what ended up happening was a pretty bad story with my son. Like,
yeah.
Do you want me to talk about it? So I ended up getting my dream job after 10 years. So excited.
So this is how circumstances change and how to adapt.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a blessing in disguise, best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
So I got the job, and then
For how long?
I was there for about 3 months.
Dream job. What
dream job, right? For 10 years.
10 years.
And I ended up, at the age of 21, I had the 3 kids, and I was in a really violent relationship, like beaten up. The kids, the little baby ended up getting physically injured. And so I had the DHS and the Federal Police. And
what does DHS stand for again?
Department of Human Services. Yep. They look after kids and protect children. And my little baby, who was 4 months old, was hurt. So they got involved, and I found myself at the Royal Children's Hospital, and they sat me down one night and said, tonight's the night. We're giving you 2 choices tonight. First choice is your kids are going into foster care and you can stay with the violent man. And I just cried, lost the plot, fell to the ground, said, please don't take my kids off me. They then said, well, your second choice is as of tonight, you're court ordered for 12 weeks to have nothing to do with that man. 12 weeks you must attend a domestic violence counsellor, and 12 weeks your dad is to live with you and you can keep the kids, but you must change your life.
That's huge. That is huge.
Because
you've probably forgiven him a zillion times, as a lot of women out there have forgiven men who've done that.
I went back for 7 years. Yeah. But I had no idea of another life. So to me, I just knew Housing Commission, the dole, poverty. I knew not another side to life. like my parents are both in Housing Commission. They've never been ambitious. I don't
That's
have
government housing
ambition.
in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just never knew another side to life. So to me, it was like, oh my God, I've got to keep my kids. I have to find another way in life. And so I worked my butt off, harder than ever, to find the answers. And that's why I pursued the funeral company, because I knew that was my passion and I had to focus on my passion. Otherwise, I could have got into drugs or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That kept me alive. And so what were we talking about?
So you're at the hospital and they said, you've got that choice.
Yes.
And they said, right, you can stay or go. And,
That's
and
right.
So you left the hospital.
No.
So
what?
You're at the hospital and they've said that, and you said?
No, and so I'd finally got the dream job and I was in my office one day, but my 10-year-old son, because we'd been through so much domestic violence.
You didn't go back that time,
He
did you?
was
No.
affected. Oh, I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Going back to the relate, I went back that many times, I can't remember. But my 10-year-old was so affected from the domestic violence that I was driving to work one day, and I'm not kidding you, I was working with a family with a 17-year-old girl that had just committed suicide.
Oh.
Her coffin was over there on the side, and I was in the office, and I remember
at the funeral home, okay.
Yeah, and my 10-year-old son rang me, screaming down the phone that he wants to kill himself.
Oh my God.
He'd run away from school, ran back home, rang me saying, Mum, I'm going to kill myself, I hate my life. I'm like, oh my God. My son's wanting to commit suicide. I'm just organising a funeral for this person that has.
Yeah.
I need to get back to my son right now. So I got in the car and I flew. I had a friend on the phone screaming, please go to my house, get my son. I got there and I had to tell them, I went to work the next day and told them I've got to resign. I need to be there for my son. I had to then do counselling with him. And I'm not a stay-at-home type of mum.
That's very emotional. That's full on, isn't it? That's
full
like,
on.
that's the last thing you ever want to hear.
It was terrible. And I'm not the type of person to stay at home and do nothing. So I'd met Dave at that time, and I'd met him at the business that Cliff was there.
This is her man now.
Yeah, my man now. And I said, and we're friends, and I said, oh, Dave, like all this stuff's happening. You know that little hobby you've got? Because he races go-karts, and he had a little hobby, and he used to do all the stickers. And I said, oh, can I turn it into a fully functioning business? And he sort of...
Could you funny?
He's like, no.
Sitting at home bored. Yeah.
Because then I could take Josh with me.
Yeah, but see, this is adapting and survival.
Yeah, I had to.
This was survival.
And so seriously, you couldn't have been faced with a worse situation.
No. I had the three kids, mate.
Yeah.
21, here I was.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know, I think I was 24, 25 at that time. So I just told him I want to create this business. Now, I started with a chair that I found on the hard rubbish. I said, Josh, can you go get it? And he's like, nah. So I had to get this chair. I've got an old camping table. I've still got that camping table. It's green. A laptop and a phone. And all I did was pick up the phone and ask for sales. That was it. And by 6 months, I'm like, Dave, you need to resign from your full-time job. You need to come and help me. And he's like, no. And we ended up in a factory within 6 months. We got 3 big printers, 7 employees. It's amazing.
And then the law of attraction caused him to not have a job where he was, and he had to go and work with you, and now it's like this massive, fantastic business, which is what amazing.
I love the best, because he was brought up in a real happy family.
Yeah.
You know, he was supported.
Yeah.
And I used to say to him for months, can you resign? Can you come and work with me, please? And he's like, no, because he needs the stability where me, I don't care. And he ended up, what happened, they found out that he had a business on the side. Even though he wasn't working in the business, because I was, they found out that he was working there, and they gave him the arse. They let him go.
Yeah.
And he rang me up one day and he was like, oh my God, Stacey, I've lost my job. And I went, yeah! And I was so excited.
Were you going out by this stage? Were you going out together at this point? Yeah. So you were like, great.
Did Dave have a choice?
Yeah. No.
He was without a job.
Oh, yeah.
So can you now imagine working in the future? Would that still be something you'd want to do?
No, because I found another passion. I love business.
Isn't it fun how you can find new passions though?
Yes.
I love that.
See, and the thing about the business that you love now, right, is that you've learned how to make a margin.
Yep.
Okay, so you're playing with all your technology and your printing machines and your computers and your software and all that sort of stuff. And you understand how to hook a client.
Yep.
And deliver a service.
Yep.
And then most of all, you make a profit. And you need to make a profit because you've got 4 kids.
5.
5.
5 children. She's
5
got
kids.
everyone. 5.
How old are you,
Look at
Stace?
her. She's like supermodel.
She's like a lean me. A lean me.
Supermodel.
32. Well, you did start early, didn't you? You certainly had a passion for kids and got going at 15.
Imagine that.
Is it
Like
a passion
Zoe
for kids or a passion for something?
But it is, that's young, isn't it? That really is super young.
But now that you have learnt these skills, you've learnt the business skills.
But there's a really important part there too. When I started the business, again, I wasn't focused on the money. And I didn't make a wage for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Because you
made
made the hard
challenge.
decisions.
Yes.
You made the
You
hard
just wanted
decisions
something to do.
first.
Yes.
And probably invested in the business to get the computer
Yes.
equipment, to get the printers. So, because I remember in my early stage of business, I paid everyone else except myself.
Exactly.
And
That's what I was doing.
when you run your own business, you're the last one to get paid because if you don't pay your staff, they leave.
And people see that end result now. They see us all sitting here on the couch going, oh, you know, this. And they don't know those stories. Unless we sit here like this and tell people stories like this, or about Paul not paying. I mean, I remember all that too. But it's funny because people perceive just how you are right now. And they think that you never have experienced hardship or you've never known. And you've known 100 times more hardship than me. Like, I'm the first to admit that.
Being bashed.
Absolutely.
So, Stacey, have you had many people come to you and say, gee, you're lucky? Gee, you're lucky. Look at your business. You're killing them. You're lucky.
Yeah.
Look, I've had a lot of... it's funny because when I was living really crap in a dingy place and I was bashed and the kids were unhappy and I was depressed and all that, I had visitors every day. Like, I had friends that used to come over and just want to know the next bit of drama that was in Stacey's life.
Yes.
And they loved me, and I had a lot of friends.
They loved all the stories, so they could go, oh, poor Stacey.
No. It was more
they
like
the good stories,
it
or
was
the
more
bad
like,
stories.
No, well, Stacey's living. They just
You were
loved
like
me
a soap opera.
living shit. It was just they got their daily fix from Stacey's dramas of feeling, you know, that I was miserable. And then once I started to create my dream life, and I'm living my dream life.
I read this chapter in your book, incidentally.
Yeah.
You know, Beware of the Green-Eyed Monster. That's where we're heading, isn't it? Because you're going to tell them about the car. Are you?
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
How when you started doing well, all your friends...
Oh, yes.
Does she know? She wrote the book.
But I thought that's where she was heading. Like, it sounded to me like because your friends, you know, used to come to you for the drama and they used to want to hear the next installment of, oh, my God, you know, the house caught on fire yesterday or whatever. Not that that happened, but... then when you got your car and you went and raced into their driveway and chewed the horn and expected everyone to come running out going, oh, good for you, Stace, that's fantastic, you've got a car. Let's go for a spin around the block, and no one said that. They're all like, oh.
I know. I had a VB Commodore and I loved it. Again, I was never focused on the money. We never had a car when I was a child. We had a car, but it was...
$150.
Dad would find a $150 bargain until it blew up, and then we'd have no car for another 3 years. And then that was our car. And so when I got my VB Commodore, it was the most exciting thing in the world. And then when I was homeless and I got given this house, this rented unit, it is a dive. Like, if you saw it today, it's all brown, it's a dive. But I remember looking back today, and I remember having the kids in the lounge room dancing around going, we are so lucky.
Yeah.
I felt so, and I genuinely felt
because
so
you were
lucky.
proud. You'd achieved. See?
So
and so it is all the steps. And what was the other thing? Oh, the other story that I love that I've heard you say is about when you... This one's a real law of attraction thing, how you can create things. And you'd found that house that you liked and you rang the doorbell.
I was just about to say this story.
I love this story.
So I had the VB Commodore and I lived in that really dive unit that I danced around and thought it was really upper class. No, I remember saying, we're upper class now? Seriously.
Great.
And I was there for about 2 years, and then I started to think, ooh, I could do better than this, and started to see better things because I was working full time. So I started to have a picture of another life. And over the hill from where I lived, there was a really beautiful estate with new houses, and I thought, I want to live over that hill because that's where all the classy
Listen up,
people
everyone.
live.
I love this story.
And I drove around with the kids in my little BB Commodore. And like to the point when in winter we had to wear gloves and beanies because there was no heater. And so I had the 3 kids in the car and I found the house that I wanted. It was just a little house, but it was nice. And I knocked on the door and I said, "Excuse me, do you own this house?" And she says...
Can you imagine having someone do that? Yeah.
Pretty random.
She's like, "I don't own it, but I'm renting it through a real estate." And I said, "Cool, what real estate?" And she told me. And I drove down to the real estate and I said,
I want that house.
"I want this house, yeah."
Did
when
you?
it I did, I swear to God. And I remember the guy saying to me, "Well, you're a good-looking chick, so I will give it to you if it comes up." I swear to God. And so I said, "I want that house." And it ended up coming up like a few months later. So all of a sudden I had my dream house it was only rent, like I was renting it, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then I thought, oh my God, I need the dream car to go in the dream driveway. And so I had the VB and I could now afford to buy a new VX Commodore. And I went and bought the VX Commodore and I thought all my friends would be so excited because Stacey is moving up in the world.
This is the car. So that's the car you tooted on the... That's it.
And I went driving around to all my friends' houses, tooting the horn really loud. Look at me car.
Yeah. And what age are you at this point? How old?
Oh, I was about 23.
I mean, and that is such a 23-year-old thing to do, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't do it now, but you know what I mean. But at that age, you're a kid and it's
She would do it now.
No, I wouldn't.
No, but you know what I mean. You've saved
with
up
you guys, but there's many people that
you know what? You can do that to us because I'll come out and jump up and down for you. I'll think
so,
that's
but
great.
nobody cared, and I'm like, oh my God, nobody got excited, and so I was really devastated. And still to this day, like when Dave came home with our BMW, I was mortified. Yeah. I'm like,
I like this part of the book.
We can't. I don't want you to show anybody that this is our car. And still,
she loved it, but you were shy about it too.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was because people think, I don't know. I'm funny about money.
Yes,
but
yes, because it's not the most important thing to you, and so you don't want people's perception of you that the money is the important thing because it's not.
No, yeah.
The money's a byproduct of all your other stuff.
I think it's more because since I've become where I've got to now, like considering where I was, I feel successful.
Yes.
To a billionaire, I'm not, but to me, I am.
But
yes.
You're still on the journey.
Yeah.
But that's
the
so
journey
true.
hasn't stopped.
As long as you're doing the thing, everyone, you don't have to be a billionaire. No. You just have to be a success in your own mind.
Yes. Yes. So,
but you're still on the journey. You're still evolving. You're still learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still learning.
I wonder what's
still
next.
Creating skills.
Dave's just walked in. We'll have to get Dave to stick his head in with the kids.
I know. Have a chair.
Are we gonna? Do you want to come and say hello?
I think you should pop your head in. I think you should. Come on.
Hey, baby.
Come on. We've introduced you. Come here. Oh my God! I'm going to go and get these kids. They're so beautiful. You have to bring them over here. Look at your little girl.
Just come and stand here.
Oh.
Just
now
come
you
and
know why
stand
she's
here.
so happy, this little family.
That's the hell
This is the little part of the family. The other big part.
Obviously, he just took a dummy pacifier, a dummy out. Can we get them over here?
Do you want to come over here, Toby, and have a look in the video? Look.
Come and have a look in the
You
video.
can be on telly.
Look at him.
Look at us all. You're all going to sell this because I'm not editing this at all. I'm just keeping it rough because I think it's nice. I think having a real conversation is better than editing it all out because when you see a TV show, there's so much editing that you don't get the real story.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yes, like when I filmed on TV. We filmed for 3 days, didn't we?
This was Australia Story?
7:30 ABC report.
Yeah, and they just edited it all out. And
8 minutes we filmed for on TV.
No, 3 days you filmed.
Yeah,
8 minutes. This was the show.
And a current affairs we filmed for a whole day. And I think they only do 8 minutes to it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. But do you know what I find a lot of people? They have a fear of starting a business because they look at people that are successful and think there's no way I can get there. It's too daunting for them. And then I find people start and then they get like a $20,000, $50,000 loan because they have to have the best furniture, the best everything, the best of. But do you know what? You start with nothing. And then as you make the profit, then you put it back. And then you can buy furniture like we did. And then we started to buy chairs and tables.
Because you make the hard
Yes.
decisions and you invest back in your business.
Yes.
And then the business will produce for you at a later rather than
Yeah.
taking everything out early. Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to say to the people that are feeling daunted, you know, that, oh my God, where do I start? Just start.
But the people who have got it started somewhere too.
The what,
See,
sorry?
The people who have got a business or are successful, they started too.
Yeah.
That they were once without, and they started.
Yeah.
And so you can't be frightened. But having a business plan,
Yes.
working out a margin, understanding how to service your customers, and away you go.
Yep.
That's how it is.
Oh, yeah.
So how inspiring is Stacey, everyone? And I've been dying to do a video with her. And she liked the one we did last night, so I rang her and I said, "You've got to come over and let's make a video." And so it was just lucky that today was the day.
In true Stacey form, no problem.
Yeah, no problem.
She'll be right.
So, can people buy your book in like stores, or do you buy it online?
Yeah, no, you can go onto my website, but
What's
I'll
your
put the
website?
link. I will put the link, everyone.
it's also in bookshops now. My distributor is overseas as we speak. Not sure what's happening when she comes back, but something will be happening. And then once A Current Affairs films, because that's to air any day now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the book's on.
Yes, we got our first on Jewelchic.
Yeah.
Hey, that's exciting. I didn't know
Yes.
that was. I thought it had been on when you were saying that just
No,
there.
no. So it's yeah.
Excellent. And is the book staying the same? Is it the same book when you
Yeah.
The
reprinted?
cover, you mean?
Oh,
Okay.
it is, but
Yeah.
I've got a testimonial from Brian Tracy. He actually read my book and loved
Now
it.
tell them who Brian Tracy is.
Brian Tracy is like this huge American self-development
YouTube over
guru. Like he's a speaker, an educator for business, sales. He's just an amazing man that I've looked up to for years and years. He was the
How
first man,
awesome.
the first guy I went to a seminar, and in the room he said, "There's 500 people in here today, and out of you 500, there's only going to be 3 that succeed."
Oh, you're one of them.
And I thought, my thinking back then was, well,
Wonder
how
who the
rude
other
I'm
two are.
going to be.
Yeah, did you think I wonder who the other two are?
No, because I thought everyone there would be successful. But now that I've learnt, people spend so much money on seminars and workshops and stuff, and they don't even implement the learnings from it.
That's so true.
So then I wrote to Brian Tracy, and I said, "Oh, can you please read my book and tell me what you
That
think
is
of
wonderful.
it?" And he gave me a testimonial.
And even more wonderful that he wrote back and was one of those real people.
I
love that.
know.
So everyone, in this book, what is also great, for those of you who are in this predicament, see, I read this book and I was really interested in the story, so I skipped the little table bits because I felt like I knew the table bits. But there's parts in here where you can work it out for yourself, and she's got like little bits where you can fill it in and look back and work out what you want to do. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. No, it's
It's good common sense.
It's really great.
It's a good read.
It's just how you can create your dream life.
That's it.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as these quick rich. You go pay $5,000 to
That's
learn
lotto.
something. It's just
That's lotto.
Yeah, or those
But the odds
pyramid
aren't
games,
good.
those pyramid games where you put in $1,000.
it's your mindset. You've got to change your mindset, don't you?
Yeah.
You have to before
Yeah.
you become successful at anything.
Well, you've got to be positive. And what's the other adjective?
Your self-belief.
Cheerful.
Cheerful. We done?
Positive and cheerful and motivated and sincere. And everyone, look, you know what? We all experience good stuff. We all experience bad stuff. It's not normal if someone passes away to not cry. You don't have to put on a happy face and, fake it till you make it in those situations. There are times when you need to feel those negative feelings, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's just times, but it's how long you choose to stay in that spot for. So that's your choice, and you need to pull yourself out of those things. It's normal to feel it, but don't dwell there too long, don't you think?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the link for Stacey's book. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
I love your story. She's such a winner, this girl. You'll be seeing her. I mean, you won't be seeing her on Oprah because Oprah's not doing her show anymore. But you'll be on the next whatever it is. But it's amazing. She's
For
so
the moment,
exciting.
she's on.
She might have her own bloody show.
She's on Jewelchic show.
That's
Yay.
right. That's right. Bye, everyone.
See ya.